Hey you guys, sorry if I sound tired in this video. I can already tell you I sound really bored, but I was legit like about to pass out tired. Anyway, enjoy. Alright guys, seems as though we have progressed far enough into the main quest that we have boarded a Bataloon and we're going to be going to the main camp, someplace that they have called Accolade or something like that. So pretty exciting. We're going to get to some good stuff. Alright, yo, what is up guys? It's just Rick here, and we are finally, after that short little cutscene, into the actual town, which this town is called Accolade. And it should go without saying, this town looks absolutely awesome. Got some pretty good lighting, and I mean, we haven't even seen the actual town. Looks pretty magnificent here. The actual walkable range is actually much smaller, but at least it looks pretty big, right? But that aside, guys, it looks freaking awesome. And here's the actual size of the map right now. We got pretty much everybody walking around in town. We even have some NPCs walking on their own. Okay, can't really talk to them, but those are their names. And we got some nice characters here, and should I just say they all look awesome. Closer, I mean, quite frankly, I think this is one of the best looking games I've ever played, and I've played a lot of MMOs. I guess not too many of them were action based and had all of these, so that's kind of the trade-off that I had to deal with. Either I go with a little bit less quality just so I can have some better action gameplay, but now, I mean, there's no excuse, guys. This should be the standard for everything. Look at how awesome this is, man. Free to play too. This is just a little hub world where you can get all your quests. Obviously, you can do everything that you could have done prior, like look at your skills and stuff like that. And I will be going over pretty much entirely the UI really quickly over here in the beautiful looking town in this game. And there, you can get a close look at my rugged looking face right there, and still not very appealing armor, but I assure you we're gonna change that for sure once official release comes out for North America. But anyway guys, let's look at all of the buttons finally of our UI, shall we? Alright, first and foremost, I want to just mention that this is something that a game never does. Here is a screen that basically, if you press escape and you go to customize user interface, it brings up this really jumbled mess of a UI thing, but it really is awesome that they allow you basically to customize your UI. Here is some dialogue from when people are talking to you, for instance. Here are some unit indicators like your own HP as well as all the units that you have, which it seems in my case 2 right now. This is just some random box. I don't even know what the hell that does. Here's some, I mean, it's really freaking awesome that it has you be able to change this, you know. If something you don't like is in the way, or if it doesn't seem like it's mapping up correctly, just move it slightly and it will work for you. So you can also resize them when you click on them, which is, look at this shit. It's amazing. It's absolutely a godsend for me, and I pretty much praise anything that can allows you to customize. I'm a big customization fan. If you're not a big customization fan, you don't have to worry about it. But I mean, if you have that option, it's just making the game better. So I just want to say that right off the bat. If you are a kind of guy who is pissed off that he's like, oh, I wish that was over here, trust me, you will not be saying about this game, because this is the most in-depth customization of a UI I have ever seen, and I think this is going to be the standard. It has to be, because it is so awesome looking. Alright, some buttons that you're going to be familiar with right off the bat for most any game. Your I button brings up your inventory. That's obviously going to have a bunch of stuff. It's separated between your basic items, your quest items, which should never get full, as well as your cache tab. Now the one that is probably going to make some people mad is that, yeah, your basic backpack, for instance, doesn't have very many slots in it. So after a while of gameplay, you're going to have to either keep going back to town, or my guess is you're going to have to expand your backpack slots, probably cache expansion. So that's a good way. That's pretty much a standard way of increasing revenue for a game, is trying to force you to buy more backpacks. So obviously it's not necessary to do. If you bring up P, that's going to bring up your hero status. It's just going to be an overview of all the gear you have, as well as a detailed look at all the stats you have. Here's the appearance tab, which is going to be a nice place, obviously, of where you're going to be putting things like costumes and stuff like that. And these seems like slots for head, face. You got the top, shoulders, gloves, tattoo. Okay, accessory 1 and 2. I don't know how that's going to work for aesthetic appearance. All of those are just cosmetic tab. That's nice that it doesn't actually take up the general tab. My guess is I mean, these shoulders, for instance, if I take them off, they don't look like anything. So every regular gear seems to carry with it a sort of aesthetic appearance, but if you want to cover over that, that's going to be what your appearance tab is for. Now finally, I'm not entirely sure of what this reputation tab does. It's showing basically a list of all of the instances that are out there in this area, which this area is called the Huron East Armory, if you guys haven't seen that. Basically all the instances in the towns we've been to so far, and I'm slowly picking up something called reputation in these areas. So as I'm completing instances, I'm getting that. I'm not really sure how reputation will play a part, or if it's just some kind of completionist achievement kind of thing, but it's kind of interesting how in-depth it is. I mean, I've been playing since level 10 and still barely scratched the surface with that. Alright, so if you actually walk over here to where we are on the mini-map, we are right here next to the Barracks Manager, and if you talk to him, he actually is going to bring up a menu that it looks really similar to your Barracks menu. This is your B menu, and then this is the menu that he has. Basically, he is your skill trainer or job changer for your units, and I haven't really got to explain that because it's actually pretty in-depth, but basically he's the guy that upgrades your units. So he upgrades their level as well as what class they can upgrade into. For instance, I have this light infantry unit. I can buff them up to be even stronger light infantry, or I can change them into being musketeers. Now the requirement for that is obviously they got to meet this troop level. My level's only 7, so they need to be level 10 to make that change, as well as I need some tin ore that has been dropping, I think, in the open world areas. I think the mobs out there in open world are dropping this tin ore, so I have a bunch of those. I'm ready to make the job change. I just need to get to the proper level. Now the menu that he brought up does show up your accumulated battle experience, and this battle experience is gained from instances. I'm pretty sure that the units have to be deployed or in the instance itself to actually gain this battle experience, and don't quote me on that, but I'm almost certain that's how it works. And you'll obviously gain some EXP for that, and you can just dump them into these units for here. Right here it says train units. I don't have enough EXP, but obviously you will be able to train your units with those battle experience. And the good thing is it actually accumulates on one kind of pool, and then you can dump them onto any unit you want to, so you don't necessarily have to dump them in the units that you use. You can, you know, farm with a really strong unit and then dump them into the weaker units that you have, so that's really awesome. Now, like I was mentioning, that you can actually deploy your troops, you can manage your troops. If you press the B button, which is the barracks button, you can heal all the troops after they've been fighting. I think I'll show that off. And then, what is this? You need an expansion slot, so I guess that's going to be a cash shop item. But you can deploy whatever units you want. Right now I can only use 2 at any one time, so I have both of them and they're both deployed right now, but obviously I can build any more for any kind of situations that I want. Now another menu you're going to be using with the barracks is the O button, and here are the 2 out of the 3 units that you can have at any one time. And yes, it does seem to be 3 units at one time. You can see detailed information on the unit that you have equipped it, as well as what kind of skills that they have, as well as the learn skills that they have, what feature skills they have, and then basic information. This badge slot, I'm not really sure what this does, but I'm guessing you can put badges to increase stats. I haven't seen any place to put any equipment, so it does seem like the badges are going to be what determines the details of the stats, as well as the level and the type of class that you have. So here's just the detailed information on that, and just because I'm starting, it's not very in-depth. Alright, so I have to put this in the vid now. It's a little bit later, but you can actually pick up skills for your class, and here are all the troops that I actually have in my inventory right now, some of which I've gotten from the gacha. But you guys can see I've job changed it to musketeer. I can actually pick up and learn new skills by talking to this NPC right here. Now, here's some learnable skills. I can learn curatio and concentration and stuff like that. So that's where you're going to actually be picking up some new skills from the skill trainer, and they only cost gold to pick up. So really nice, but really important that you have all the skills that you have for your class, because they don't really cost that much. And finally, guys, probably what I haven't shown off very well is your skill points. Now, every level you get 1 skill point, as I've seen. And so I'm level 10, I got 10 skill points. Now you can actually dump them into one of 3 different types of categories, you can say. The first one is your basic skills, which are like your passives pretty much. This is an evasion skill to get up from being knocked down, and stuff like that. You can see that most of the skills can't be leveled up very high. Most of them, I think these ones down here are pretty much the highest I've put any points into, and there were 3 points each, or for each of these skills. The other ones are 2, 1. You know, it doesn't take very many points to max a skill. But you do see that here are my hero skills, which only affect me, and then finally you have troop direction skills, which are just kind of passives for your troops. Right here, that for instance, this increases my troops melee or max HP by 10%. So I mean, it's a passive basically. I can boost them up a lot, and like I mentioned, guys, troops are half of the game. You can't just buff up your guy like I have. Oh yeah, one final thing I forgot to mention, what probably you guys would be interested, is going to be the cash shop in this game. Now most time in closed beta especially, and sometimes in open beta, they don't like showing what the cash shop has, but this game spent no time in doing that. I haven't seen a way to actually preview any of the gear beforehand, so that's a little bit of a downside to this. It looks pretty cool, but again, you're not really able to see it before that, so I don't know if I'm missing something here, but they do seem to have a ton of armor for all characters right now, and I wish they kind of separated them a little bit better, but they do have a few hair faces, chests, you know, stuff like that. Just I think 2 sets for everybody, which sure, as you guys can see, I am decked out in cash right now, way more than I can ever use, but I'm gonna quickly use that real quick because I think it's just for the closed beta. I'm pretty sure it's intended to get wiped anyway, so I'm gonna quickly buy some stuff and then we're gonna quickly look at that. Alright guys, spent like half of that money. I don't know, that might have been more than $150 worth in there, so there was a lot of shit. But basically I want to use one of the holy summons, which I'm never a fan of gambling system, but it does have a gacha system in this game. That's spelled incorrectly. Obviously you see that we can get units out of it, so I mean, I just picked up a priest unit right there and stuff like that. I think they are going to be exclusive gacha basically units that you get. Now I've heard somebody else mention in the comments that these units right here cannot be upgraded stronger than whatever you can normally get by yourself, but I can only assume that some of these units are going to be exclusive only to the gacha, and they're probably going to be OP, so I don't know if that's going to play a really big part. We're going to have to see, but as far as we see, we just got some priest units, I guess, so who knows how far that's gonna go, but I really hate fucking gambling systems in games. Other than that though, we got some costumes. I want to throw those on there. Yes, they will be bound onto your character once you put them on, so that's a little bit distraught. So there will be no buying of that without without having put them on before, so that kind of sucks. Right now I'm trying to put on all of the I couldn't preview this before I bought it, so I'm basically putting on all the gear that I saw and thought looked cool beforehand. And even these tiny little ass fucking earrings. You kidding me right now? Look at those things. Yep, those are a cash shop item. Didn't cost very much anyway, and I did finally get a muffler. Oh, what? That was weak. I got another one, so let's try this. Ah, that's better. Looks like Gerald a little bit. Just a little bit like Gerald, not as puffy. And no cape, so kind of wish I had a cape. Not gonna lie about that. But anyway, we also got a few Barracks expansion scrolls. Oh, can't right click this, so I gotta use the Barracks expansion. I just say expand slot, and now I have, well, more slots, right? Do I have more slots? Ooh, that's rough. Okay, so I used one to enhance the barracks. I didn't notice it increase in size. Oh, it did. Current troops. But if you want to expand it again, you actually need 2 this time, which that's a cheap trick if ever I saw it. I didn't know that before. But there you go. We expanded that, and I'm pretty sure that's all the cash off items in terms of utility. I didn't see any anything like inventory expansions like backpacks, but there are this brittle stone that's going to reset your skill points. And there's the Barracks expansion, which costs exactly as much as the skill reset scroll, which is pretty incredible. So I'm going to actually buy a couple of those. Again, I'm getting pretty broke here. I also get a bunch of lives. That actually helped me right now, because I'm getting my ass killed easily. But anyway, guys, I think I've covered up the UI as much as I possibly could. If I haven't got to show off the town, there you go. Look, there's a Zeppelin flying in there. That's just amazing. Speaking of Zeppelin though, I think I'm pretty much done talking about that. Let's take a look at the world map, and that is another very, very interesting part of the game, which up until this point I didn't know anything about. So let's take a look at that. So you'll notice that on some places that there are portals that say take you to the world map, which is actually really important. This is going to be obviously it's going to be a world map, as you can imagine. However, what you will see is this screen. And as you guys can see, pretty big, and there's a lot of Zeppelins flying around here. So I mean, that will become more apparent in a second here. I'm just gonna quickly show you guys what this world is like. Quite literally, this is the entire world map, and as you guys can see, there are structures and stuff all the way out here. So this thing is huge. It's basically the entire game mapped onto one screen, and you guys can see, at least for the starting areas that I have unlocked myself, these are actual instances that I have actually played in. Here's the wooden shade. This is the very first instance of the game. Then you get dumped into Aten, which is the forest level, and then you get dumped into a field. As you guys can see, these are literally connected one to another. So I mean, this field right here is really connected to this instance, which is connected to this field. So I mean, I didn't ever have to move to this world map before actually heading to Accolade. I mean, I actually moved through all of these areas physically through the portal. So, I mean, this world map is basically a hub world to actual places in the game that are connected to each other. So, I mean, you can consider this like a mount system where I just automatically can fly over to these areas, which is really awesome. The only problem I have with that is some maps, like this one for instance, don't actually have any way to get back to the world map. So if I went to here like I have before, you have to actually go to this instance to get dumped off to this map. That's really annoying. So I hope in the future all maps, at least field maps, have ways to get out of them through the world map. But that was just a minor problem for that. I just think it's really cool that everything's actually physically connected. And so if we jump into this field, you guys will see that we have already been to this area and been doing open world quests there. And so like I was saying previously, we are actually connected into this map now. And if you guys have seen this map, this should be no surprise to you. This is the base that I was at talking to all these people. So I mean, like I said, this game is really open world, and it's not really run by a hub world like that. Even though it's connected to all the instances and fields in the game, the fields are connected to each other as well. So I mean, it's open world in that sense. Now, I should end this video by saying, guys, that this game isn't really, I mean, it's a simulated open world. You guys can see in this town, or in this map, for instance, and the town itself is not genuine full open world. You guys can see we are actually enclosed by these boundaries here, as shown on the mini-map. So, in that sense, guys, it is not true open world. And I should say that before anybody gets super pissed off. Yes, it's not going to be possible for us to actually climb the towers of the castle or, you know, go out of bounds in areas. Yes, this is heavily, I guess you could say, blocked off. So it's not open world. Even the main town itself is closed off. So it's kind of like a simulated open world, but the fact that they're all connected in a open world type fashion, especially when you can see everybody out town and pretty much do open world stuff, that really shouldn't detract too many people. We can see what happens when things get way too open world and you never see anybody else in the game. And so I kind of like this idea that it's open world, sure, but there's really a direction of where you want most people to be at. And, you know, most people are going to be congregating towards these instances over here or towards the world map. So that's kind of the idea I think they had with that. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope I was able to show off everything else that this game has to offer in terms of UI and everything else. Because now I think I'm done with that, and I really want to just start playing. Let's do that. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.